If you could live anywhere in the world, what would you look for? If you could wave a magic wand and manifest the perfect place for you to live and thrive in ease, what would really matter to you? Hi, I'm Elle, and I help women who want more out of life create wealth and ease by listening to their inner wisdom and living their dreams. And the dream we're talking about today is how I'm choosing my next country to live in, using everything I've learned from traveling and living in 26 countries. For me, moving countries or cities or continents isn't just about finding a place to live. It's about building a life that feels easy, luxurious, joyful, and well-resourced in the sunshine. And today, in this conversation, I'm sharing the exact criteria I'm using to choose my next country, the lessons I've learned from living in Rwanda, Mexico, Thailand, and the US, and how you can create your own criteria for a dream life abroad. I've traveled to over 26 countries, and every single one has taught me something about what I need to feel at home and what, quite frankly, I can live without. I'm not revealing just yet where I'm moving, even though I have already purchased a one-way ticket. I'm using all of my energy to focus so concentratedly on leaving, arriving, and being well-sustained once I get there. I will definitely put you in the loop once I arrive, but in the meantime, I want to let you know how I'm thinking about things, how I'm preparing, and how I'm moving forward into my next country, because this isn't just happenstance. This isn't just oopsie daisy or close my eyes and spin the wheel. This has been a deliberate and intentional choice. And by the end of today's video, you'll know how to start choosing your own dream destination or your own next dream goal, even if it's not a particular place that you want to move or relocate to. I lived in Rwanda for most of 2022. I will post a video right here where I talk extensively about why I chose Rwanda, what my life was like there, how living in Kigali was, and so many details. If you're interested in a deep dive, I strongly encourage you to watch that video. Living in Rwanda taught me that while other needs might be met, like it was warm and it was sunny and it was beautiful and I was surrounded by wonderful, brilliant, beautiful Black people and it was clean and it was safe, all of these very important baseline fundamental needs, I learned that if I also don't have community, if I don't have a sense of belonging, if there's not a sense of invitation and welcome, not only from the expat community, but also from the local community, as an unmarried, child-free Black American woman who is a zennial, having access to community and ways to connect with people when I'm outside of my home city or state or country or continent actually matters so much to me. If I don't come with my own built-in family system, I need to be able to plug into some community, some sense of belonging, some sense of connection wherever I'm going. And if there aren't expat groups that are already set up there, if I'm going to be living somewhere long term, I need to be living someplace that is naturally warm and welcoming and inclusive and invitational, that it's easy to kind of slide in and not feel like an outsider. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I went to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. I spent a lot of my 20s and into my 30s in the United States. I've traveled extensively, but I would always come back to the States. Being a multi-generational Black American, foundational Black American, I know how much stress we live under in this country. And I don't want to do it. I'm not interested in doing it. I'm not invested in doing it. I don't owe this country anything. I do not owe it my energy, my time, my labor. My ancestors have done more than enough for me and my lineage indefinitely. So I don't actually owe the United States anything, and it's not giving me what I desire, which is a life of ease and stress-free and peace in a government that actually values me as a human being. There's a lot of other things that living in the United States doesn't necessarily resonate or speak to my values or speak to what I think is important. I know that the life I want to live, where I'm not just in survival mode, where healthcare isn't a privilege, where housing is not just for the lucky, where people are actually being well taken care of by the government who is governing while also having free will, These things are incredibly important to me. The United States isn't the nexus of all things. There are other countries that are more in alignment with what I value, what I desire. I give myself that permission to explore and look for places all over the world. I've been to every continent except for Antarctica, and there are different things that I've taken from my time in Morocco or Cuba or Ghana or South Africa or France or China or India that have really helped me shape my understanding of myself in the world, but also how the world can treat me and feel good. Cuba is one of my favorite countries to travel to because the people are so warm, so welcoming, so inviting, as are they in Belize. I felt the same way. I was like, how are these people this nice without wanting anything from me, without needing anything? And so that is also incredibly important to me, to go places where I'm actually just seen as a human. People know I'm Black, sure. People know I'm American, sure. But it doesn't make me a second or third or fourth class citizen. They can actually see me and be warm and connect and interact with me as a person that I am, which is such a relief. And it feels so good to be seen and treated like a valued human being in the world. Traveling and living abroad in so many places with so many different kinds of people has really helped me understand what's possible and what's essential. What are my non-negotiables? If I use the United States as my baseline for what was possible in terms of how I was treated and the lifestyle I'd want to have, my standards would be so low. But because I've traveled other places, I've met people from all over the world, I've made friends with people while I travel, I realized that this country, the United States, is actually incredibly distorted in terms of how it thinks about people and human beings. And I don't have to stay here any longer than necessary. Keep my home based here until I find some place that I'm really ready to make my own home base, because it feels good to my nervous system to have a home base to return to. I don't have to look for a new place. I don't have to find a new lease, that I can just go back into the place that I've been living at this point for almost a decade. That matters to me. That also gives me peace of mind while I'm away. I don't find a storage unit and get things out of storage to put into my apartment, which I've done before, but I get to hold down my home so that when I'm ready, I can come back and know where all my books are and my clothes are and my wigs are. I can know where all my stuff is. Now, that may not be what you need, but it's important to know what you do need so that you can meet that need. Another thing for me when I'm looking at countries as I travel to is I need to feel safe. It needs to be easy. I don't want to feel like I'm in survival mode in any way, shape, or form. Financially, physically, emotionally, health-wise, I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel safe. I want to be able to go to the hospital if I need medical care. I want to be able to go to the doctor with ease. And there are so many countries that I've traveled to where medical care was easy. Rwanda was easy. Different places in Europe were easy. Mexico was easy, not like in the United States where it feels cumbersome and it's incredibly expensive. And so I need to feel safe, but also like if I need something with my health, I can go there and it be easy. I also need to be someplace where there's a cultural norm of niceness, of kindness, of ease and joy, which also, of course, comes with people feeling safe in their own country and not just towards foreigners. Because I have traveled places where foreigners get kind of like a special treatment, but they're kind of mean to each other. And that's not what I want either. I like traveling places that people are kind and welcoming and loving to each other, and it kind of spills over into the travelers or the visitors, not transactional kind of kindness. I value being in a culture and a community where the elders are taken care of and loved on as much as the children. When societies have that kind of healthy continuum, it's an easy indicator that all are well and all are welcome. Of course, there are going to be outliers. So I'm talking about the overall general health of a culture and a community. Something else that I really need is ease and accessibility. I am here for a life of wealth, ease, and freedom. That is the work that I do. And if any of this conversation is like bubbling up something in you where you may be thinking about moving abroad, or even if you're not thinking about moving abroad, but you're like, I want to make my life easy. I want to bring more alignment into my life. I want more flow. I'm tired of struggling. I'm pushing. If that sounds like you are invited to an Insight Hour call with me where you can ask questions, get insights, get some clarity and refocus direction so that your life can feel and be easier. Easy is a 4-letter word, but it is not a bad word. Your life can be easy. It can have flow. If you're interested, check out Insight Hour, which is me and you one-on-one. We'll dive into your life, what your vision is, what your dreams are, what your challenges are, and really help get you back in alignment and back on track. Because ease is everything for me. So as I'm looking at my next country, my next city where I actually want to live, I need ease. I need accessibility. And even though the United States is known for convenience, we are souped up on convenience, right? But it's not necessarily easy unless you have a ton of money. And so I want a lifestyle. I don't need to have stacks on stacks on stacks in order to still live a life of ease and flow and abundance and pleasure. I still want a life of leisure, even if I'm not the richest of the rich. I need walking access to cafes, spas, yoga studios, restaurants, everyday luxuries that allow me to live a very soft and simple life without costing me an arm and a leg. I like having regular nail appointments, regular spa appointments, regular massage appointments. These are things that to some people might feel superficial or trivial or not important. But the way I like to live in terms of luxury, in terms of ease, in terms of being well taken care of mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, I need to be in a place where it's easy to go to the spa. It's easy to get a massage. It's easy to have a delicious meal where it doesn't feel like doing a lot of work. When I was living in Rwanda, I had a weekly standing 2-hour massage appointment, which I love. And so while Kigali, Rwanda had a great spa, there was only one to choose from. There are other places in the world where it's not a big ask or a hard climb to have more access to things that make my life easier. Why does it's kept? Domestic work is not my strength. I am not good at that. But I am happy. I love hiring out for people who are much better equipped than I am. Something else that I need where I'm going next is a plug and play community. I need a place where Black expats have regular activities that are hanging out, that are spending time together, and that the Black expat community also includes unmarried, child-free women, not just families and couples, which is a lot of what I experienced in Rwanda. They were there, Black Americans were there, but they were often in groups, and there weren't a ton of single Black American women who wanted to do things, who were out and about, at least not that I found, or who weren't working and toiling and building and enterprising and working so hard every single day, because that's also not the life I live. I want to live a life of leisure and luxury. That's how I love to live my life. So I don't want to have to plan it. I don't want to have to build the community. I want to be able to slide into a community that's already active, that's already doing things, and I can pick and choose the events and the experiences that I want to go to and belong to a community without having to build it from the ground up. Affordable, high quality healthcare, as I mentioned earlier, is also a non-negotiable for me. Not just access to medical care and healthcare when I need it, but high quality. So my next country is also a medical tourism destination with transparent pricing, far lower than the cost of the United States, plus the ease of travel. And I love Qatar Airways. I love the Q Suite. I love it. It's my favorite way to travel. I love flying first class, especially international, so I can lie flat and go to sleep. I need to be able to have that kind of ease of travel, ease of lifestyle, ease of medical care, ease of food. Ease, ease, ease is the theme. This is the lens and the filter that I'm looking through as I'm deciding where I want to go next. The place I've chosen, I can bip and bop and hip and hop to different countries in the area, and it's simple and it's easy and it's affordable, which is also very nice. So as I'm having this conversation and I'm sharing these things, if there are things that are bubbling up for you and you're like, I have a vision of my own, there are things I want to do, and you're feeling a little overwhelmed or overstimulated about how to move forward in it, it could be moving abroad. It could be something else that you know you want to move forward with in your life, but you haven't gotten the clarity or the direction about exactly what needs to be done or what needs to be cleared away. Hire me. Schedule an insight hour with me. Let's work through your questions and create clarity so you can move forward into your dream life. Dreaming with intention is very important. I'm not a daydreamer. It's very challenging for me to fantasize and not make something a reality. I have a Taurus sun. I have a Virgo North Node. For me, things are about how do I make the vision? How do I make the dream practical? How do I break it down into steps? It's important to dream, but for me, it's also important to mobilize the dream into manifestation. I know what I want. I know that the right place for me exists. And the only questions I really have are, what do I need to do to get there, to sustain myself well while I'm there and create the life that I love? I already have given myself decades ago full permission to do whatever I want to do and to live the life that I want to live. So really asking myself, what do I need to do to get there, to sustain myself well and create the life I love? That is what's informing my decisions. That's what's informing my next steps, so that I know what I need to put in place so that I can actually enjoy all the reasons that I'm moving to this country and to this city, so that I can take full advantage of it. I created a timeline for myself months ago, the day by which I needed to buy my plane ticket out of the country and the day by which I needed to leave. And I met that deadline for buying my ticket. I booked it a little bit longer than when I need to leave, but with enough of a window to be feeling like I'm in the momentum. And once I bought the ticket, I was like, okay, it's a done deal. Everything else now is in that vision. Everything else now is aligned to that. There's no distractions. Before I bought my ticket, even though I knew in my heart I wanted to go, it was still conceptual. It was still theoretical. I had not put any money down. There was nothing committing me to leaving. When I bought the ticket, I was like, okay, Elle, everything else now is in alignment with you leaving. Every dollar that comes in, every job that you take, every client who hires you, everything that you're doing is in alignment with this vision. No distractions. But I had to buy the ticket to make it feel real to me, other than just ideating and thinking about it. What shifted me into go mode, trusting that everything is adding up. Everything is always adding up. Everything is always compounding for my highest and best good. The world, the universe, source is conspiring in my favor. Even when I don't have every single detail figured out, even when I don't know the nuts and the bolts, because I gave myself enough of a runway once I was in go mode to figure out all the details. There are certain things that I have to do. For example, when I left Los Angeles and came back to Seattle after leaving Rwanda, I put some bags and boxes and suitcases in my cousin's garage. My stuff has been there now for over a year. He's ready for it to go. And I've already booked this ticket as well. I have to leave Seattle, go to Los Angeles, get my things out of his garage, and bring them back to Seattle before I leave to my next destination. When I called him to confirm that the dates would work for him, he was like, I think you have forgotten how much stuff you have and how heavy it is, which I totally had. So now I still have to figure out, is it going to be too heavy to bring on the airplane? Am I going to need to rent a car while I'm in Los Angeles so I can take it to UPS or to have it shipped back? All these other moving pieces to get my stuff out of his garage back into my place in Seattle, so that when I go to my next destination, I don't have to worry about things in his house. And quite frankly, I can be out of his hair because I know he's sick of me and he's ready for my stuff to be gone anyway. These are the kinds of moving pieces that I need to have in place. I made a list of good, better, best, which are the criteria and the scenarios that give me flexible and realistic options for leaving. Good is the basics. It's what do I need to have? What is the basics, essentials that I need to have in order to leave? Better is like, okay, what's that with a little razzle dazzle on it? Best is what's like my optimal situation. I'll give you a couple of examples. Good is buying a plane ticket, economy class on my favorite airlines, Qatar Airlines. Better is, well, there's no real better category for that, because in Qatar Airlines, there's just economy and business class. So good is buying my ticket on economy, which I did do. Better, not applicable. Best is upgrading it to business class, but I'm not waiting for business class to buy my ticket. If I am able to upgrade to business class by the time it's time to go, perfect. I look forward to that. But if not, I still have my ticket. For my rent in my place in Seattle, good is I would love to pay 3 months of my rent in advance, so I don't have to even think about it while I'm gone. Better is paying 6 months in advance of my rent. Best is paying a year in advance of my rent. For every section of my relocation that's requires something like money, like time, like resources, deadlines that actually have to be done, I put them into good, better, and best categories, so that always somewhere on the chart, it's not like, oh, nothing is happening. No, good is I bought my plane ticket. Is it the best? Is it business class? It's not, but it's a ticket that I have and I'll be able to go. When I do that, it makes it realistic. It makes it practical. It makes it flexible too. So it gives me some window and some wiggle room instead of being really narrow and rigid. And this allows me to just create the life I want to live with some flexibility, with some creativity, but also with a focus. So I'm not all over the place. Having traveled to so many countries, I have first-hand knowledge of how different cultures approach things like community, healthcare, ease of living. And these perspectives really help me fine-tune exactly what I'm looking for in my next chapter. And thankfully, there are videos like this one all over YouTube where I've been learning and studying and watching and seeing how different people experiment and are living in the place that I'm moving next. This has been incredibly helpful as I'm making these kinds of decisions and figuring out what is available to me. I did a video, and I'll put the link here, about what happens when you move somewhere or you have a dream and the dream doesn't go as you imagine, because I do talk about that and it's important, but you can't get distracted by that. You have to still focus on what's possible, what you want, and move in that direction, 10 toes down. If you're wondering how to prioritize your own criteria, how to plan a trip or a move or next steps that work for you, let's chat. Book an Insight Hour with me and I will help you map out your next steps with ease. You can ask me anything and I will hold your hand as we move through your process, my process, whatever you want to know. I will offer whatever insight and support I can. Here are 3 questions I use to guide this decision that might help you too as you're thinking about moving, relocating, or making another kind of change in your life. What kind of lifestyle do I want to be living? This is very important. For me, wealth, ease, and freedom, luxury and ease. These are things that are very important to me. And I don't want to have to sell my left pinky toe or my right elbow in order to do it. How much support do I need? And what would that look like? As I mentioned, I need Black expat communities. I need unmarried, child-free Black women who want to have friends and hang out. What challenges am I willing to navigate for the dream that I want? This is so important because there will be challenges. Things will come up. This is how you set your boundaries with yourself. It sets up the line that you're not willing to cross and what you're willing to do. And be honest, be transparent. Don't mislead yourself and then end up in a situation that you don't want to be in, because ultimately there's no wrong choice. But you do need to know what your boundaries are, what your standards are, what you want to do for yourself, and make sure that you have what you need in order to do that. Financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, make sure you have the resources that you need to be well based on what you decided your actual dream is. I learned this the hard way when I had a medical emergency in Rwanda. I went to several doctors and the emergency room multiple times until I realized I had to go back to the United States. There was only so much I was willing to do. And once that kind of ran out and hit its cap, I had to return home to take better care of myself. And that is also part of the process, because it's all working for your highest and best good, even if it doesn't seem like it on the surface. So decide what your dream is and move in that direction. Trust that everything is conspiring in your favor and do what you have to do to make it happen. And then you surrender. Then you trust in the process, and you surrender and you trust in the process, and you are obedient as it's all working out in real time. There's a dynamism in terms of being focused on your path, trusting your path, being on your path, and also surrendering to the process. You trust in the process. You listen to your inner wisdom. You listen to your intuition. You trust yourself and you move forward. The more you learn yourself, the more you get feedback from your path and from your journey, the more confident and comfortable you are making these kinds of decisions. Choosing the right country, choosing the right job, choosing the right relationship, choosing the right next step for you is about more than logistics. It's about really creating a life that feels aligned and joyful and well-resourced, a life that feels like you, and you have the power to do that. And for me, that means ease, sunshine, luxury, and a sense of belonging. So no matter where you are in your journey, know that your dream is possible, that the key is trusting yourself and taking the next aligned step and the next aligned step and the next aligned step. Some things to think about, some questions to think about. What would be the first thing you would look for in a new community, in a new country? Food, lifestyle, cost of living? Let me know in the comments. What are your top priorities? And what's your biggest fear about moving abroad? And how can I help you feel more confident in taking the leap? If you're ready to get serious about creating your dream life, book an Insight Hour call with me. We'll figure out what matters most to you, map out your next steps, and make your dream feel so much more doable. Not way out there conceptually, theoretically, but so much more doable in real time right now. Your dream life is waiting for you. All you have to do is say yes. Let's make it happen. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, watch this video. Bye for now.